Hi guys, good evening. Yes, can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you. So let's start session. Yes, yesterday's class. Yes, all the basics were discussed. Like, yeah, these things, all these basics, like system software, application software, next OS, and next, yes, front and back end languages, and all this discussed. Low level languages, high level language discussed. Yes, today topic is difference between interpreter and compiler. Interpreter versus compiler. Yes, interpreters and compilers are used to convert from high-level language to binary codes. Okay. Yes, interpreter. Yes, interpreter, interpreter or compiler. Interpreter or compiler. Compilers compare to convert, convert from convert from yes high-level language, high-level language, high-level language to binary codes, high-level language to binary codes. Yes, interpreter or compiler. Interpreter or compilers. Yes, these are two. Yes, convert to convert from high level language means that English language codes are source codes, that source codes to binary codes. Yes, what is interpreter? What is compiler? Yes, interpreter versus compiler. Interpreter versus compiler. Interpreter versus compiler. Interpreter versus compiler. Interpreter versus, let us see about interpreter versus compiler. Okay, interpreter versus compiler. Yes, let me open document, Word documents. Yes, interpreter versus compiler. Yes, first of all about interpreter. See, interpreter, compiler both are converting from high level language to binary code, but the way it's working is different. Interpreter, compilers both have to convert from high level language to binary codes, but the way it's working is different. Let us see. First of all about interpreter. First of all about interpreter. First of all about interpreter. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. Hello. Hello. Yeah, tell me. Yes. Interpreter. How interpreter is working. Let us say about interpreter. Yes, for this interpreter, yes, I am taking some Python example. For interpreter, taking Python. Yes, Python example. Python is interpreter based language. Yes, Python source code. Python source code about test.py. Test.py. Python source code. Python source code. See. Python source code. Yes. Python. 1 second. Python. D drive. Inventor Python folder. Yes, this some test.py file. D drive mnraw Python. D drive mnraw Python. CMD command prompt. Yes, D colon D drive. Yes. Here, see mnraw Python. It's a directory. See dir means directory here. These are directories. mnraw Python. Here directories. Directory folder both are same. Similar. See, MN Rao Advanced Java, MN Rao AWS, MN Rao Hadoop Java, MN Rao Linux, all are starting lining. Sorry, all are starting the MN Rao. These are folders. Same thing, directories. Yes, in character interface. In character interface, calling as directory. In character interface, directory here. In graphical, it's a folder. Directory folder both are same. Directory folder both are same. Directory similar to folder. Directory similar to folder. Okay. Now cd change of directory. Change of directory. Mendra hyphen Python. Yes, see this. Changed CLS. The year. No Python directory. So Mendra Python directory. Python directory. Okay, in this, yes, test.py. Test.py file. Here test.py file. Okay. Yes. So test.py. See here notepad. Notepad. Yes, notepad. Yes, notepad. Test.py. Yes, see. We'll see all these examples. C language, Python and Java. All that examples. You can understand very clearly. Okay. Yes. Today topic is interpreter versus compiler. Today topic interpreter versus compiler. Interpreter versus compiler. Interpreter and compiler both are interpreter or compiler. Yeah, these are to convert from high level language to binary codes. After converting into binary code, then executing, getting result. Then how these are working here? Interpreter and compiler. See, interpreter are both are converting from high level language to binary codes. But the way it's working is different. The way it's working is different. How these are working? Let us see. How these interpreter and compilers, how they are working here. Interpreter versus compiler. First, let us start with interpreter. Let us start with interpreter. How interpreter working? Yes, interpreter based language. Java, sorry, Python. Python is a interpreter based language. Python. Python is interpreter based language. So Python source code from test.py. See, test.py. See here, Python. Python script here. D drive. Here they say D drive. Yes, in D drive. D drive mendra Python folder. D drive mendra Python folder in this test.py. Test.py. Okay. Yes, good. Yes, open command prompt. First of all, open command prompt. At the command prompt. Okay. Yes, D colon. That will take you D drive. DR. Yes, all of this. See, actually, Python scripting we can develop using PyCharm actually. It's a PyCharm ID. Java applications are using Eclipse. Java applications and Java programs using Eclipse here. Python is PyCharm. PyCharm. Yes, PyCharm we can discuss, but yes, little bit difficult to understand. For understanding purpose, just I'm taking command prompt. Understanding purpose, just I'm taking command prompt. Just I'm taking command prompt. So command prompt. Okay. Yes. Now here command prompt. Yes, mnra Python. It's a directory. It's a directory. Directory folder both are same. Directory. See, all are starting with mnra directory set. Same thing. Yes. Same thing. See, mnra Advanced Java, mnra AWS, mnra Hadoop, mnra Java, mnra Linux. All are starting with mnra folders, right? These are folders. Same thing here directories. So directory is similar to folder. Okay. In character interface, calling as directory. Yes, in GUI, graphical user interface calling as folder. That's it. Directory folder both are same. Okay. Yes, now here, see Python, mnra Python. Change of the CD. Yes, mnra hyphen Python. A change of directory. CD means change of directory changed. CLS. DR. Okay. See this, all these files top to bottom. Yes, here they say test.py. Test.py. Yes, notepad. Yes, notepad. Notepad. Yes, test.py. Test.py. Yes, opening the file. Test. Python script. See, this is Python script. See, what is the script? A equal 10, B equal 20. C equal to A plus means addition. Addition. subtraction and multiplication of two numbers. This is simple script here, Python script, simple script. Exiting, closing here. Know how to run it here. Running directly can run it. Python script directly can run it here. Directly running here. Yes, no errors checking, nothing here. So Python script executing directly here. Suppose C program, if it is C program, you have to compile it. First of all, you have to compile. C program means you have to compile it, checking for all the errors. C program. Generally, C program is like this. Let us see C program also. C program. Yeah, this is C program. Yes, C program, same program. C also. Program to add, program to add, program to add, subtract and multiply two numbers. Program to add, subtract and multiply two numbers. So this is C program. Okay, C. Enter first number, enter second number, reading from the keyboard. C equal to A plus B, C equal to A minus B, C equal to NTB. This is C program. What happens? First of all, you have to compile it, checking for errors. Compilation process, checking for all the errors. Yes, compilation, success. Successfully completed. First of all, compilation. Okay. Yes, next after compilation. Compilation means checking for errors. Compilation process, checking for errors after running. Two steps. First number 10, second number 20. Yes, addition, subtraction, and multiplication. So this is C programming. This is C programming. Same thing if it is Python, what happens? In Python, no errors checking, directly submitting program. Yes, Python. Yes, Python. Yes, test.py. Python test.py. Python. Yes, Python test.py. See this. Addition, subtraction, multiplication. Addition, subtraction, multiplication. So what's happening here? Yes, no errors checking here. Directly script executed. So Python script executing directly. Python script executing directly here. No errors checking here. No errors checking. Suppose C program means first of all errors. Checking for all the errors. Checking for all the errors. Okay. Yes, 1 second. C program. Suppose C program. If it is C program, suppose some mistakes. C program means compiler. Suppose semicolon missing. Okay, suppose some bracket missing here. Okay, suppose here some comma missing. Suppose here, yes, print, sub double quotation missing here. Okay, suppose here some, yes, here this bracket missing here, this bracket missing, this bracket missing. Okay, yes, next, yes, so here double quotation missing, something like this. See, first the compilation process, compile, yes, errors, 11 errors, right? This is working of compiler. Yes, first let us discuss about interpreter. After finishing interpreter, next we will go to compiler. See interpreter, how it's working. Interpreter directly executing. Yes, interpreter script executed directly. No errors checking here. Suppose C program, first of all checking for all the errors, compilation process. If no errors, then execution. But Python is not like that. Interpreter based language is not like that here. Directly executes. No errors checking, nothing here. Yes, no errors checking, nothing. Directly executing. Directly executing here. Okay, see how interpreter working. Let us see. Interpreter. Suppose Python script. Okay. Yes, here Python script. Python script. Something like A equal 10, B equal 20. These statements like this, all these statements, all these statements, all these statements like this, all these statements. How these are working here? Okay, these statements. Yes, your program statements. First statement, first statement, next statement, next statement. Yes, next statement. Yes, next statement. Yes, next statement. Next statement. There are some statements in Python script. There are some statements. There are some statements. Because there are some statements. Yes, there are Python script statements here. How interpreter working? Yes, see interpreter. It checks the first line. First statement. Suppose first statement is correct. If first statement is correct, yes, simply it converts into binary code, 0 response format. Yes, 0 response format. First statement, if first statement is correct, that converts into 0 response format, 0 response format. Okay, yes, yes, first statement, checking for the first statement. Suppose first statement is correct, that converts into binary code here. That binary code given to processor. So processor taking that binary code and generating output, simply generating outputs. That's it. Okay. See here how interpreter working. Interpreter check for the first statement. If first statement is correct, immediately converts into binary code. That binary code given to processor. So processor generating output here. The next coming statements may be right or wrong. Yes, next coming statements are right or wrong. Interpreter never think about next coming statements. Interpreter never think about next coming statements. Interpreter never think about next coming statements. Next coming statements may be right or wrong. It won't think about next statements here. Suppose if this statement is correct, first line is correct, immediately converts into binary code and given to processor generating outputs. Next, checking for next statements. Checking for next statements. Next statement. Suppose next statement is correct. Same. Suppose next statement is correct. That converts into binary code given to processor generating outputs. Okay. Next, checking for next. See, first line checking over correct, executed. Second line is correct, executed. So line by line. Okay, first line checking, then execution. Next line checking, then immediate execution. Next line. Suppose something wrong here. Something wrong. Something wrong here. Something mistake is there. Simply stops. Any error comes, simply stops. It won't go to next lines. Next, it won't. Yes, interpreter. If any error comes, simply stops the program. Checking for first statement, correct, executes. Next statement, correct, executes. Next statement, something wrong, simply stops. Let us see. Same thing here. Yes. Notepad. Yes. Test.py. 1 second. Test.py. Okay. See, A equal to 10, B equal to 20, C equal to A plus B. Here's some mistakes. Suppose comma missing. Suppose here double quotation missing. Okay, here bracket missing. There are three mistakes. Now what happens here? Now compile it here. Yes, not compilation. No compilation process, directly running here. Yes, Python test. See this. Yes. Now what's happening here? See this. Addition equal to this is seventh line error. Means only first line, only first error. Next error is not showing. Any error comes, simply interpreter stops. Here error is there. Simply stopping, that's it. Yes, it won't go to next statements here. Yes, any error comes, simply interpreter stops. Any error comes. Checking first line, correct, executed. Next line, correct. Next line. Yes, here seventh line, some error. Simply stop. Any error comes, simply stops. Now let us correct the mistake here. Yes, suppose comma. Yes, after correction. Yes, comma. Yes, after correction. So next, no, let us run again here. Running again. Yes, now next, right. 11th line error. Next, that means showing only one error. Interpreter shows only one error. So next error. Next mistake. Yes, correct it. Yes, save. Yes, after saving. Now again run it. Here. Again run it. Yes, sorry. Again run it. After saving, again run it here. Yes. Yes, next error. 16th line error here. 16th line error. Yes, again. 16th line. Yes, these are the mistake. Like this, interpreter shows only one error. If any error comes, interpreter stops. Any error comes, interpreter stops. That's it here. So this is working of interpreter. 1 second. Let me have some water. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, just 1 minute. So interpreter working is like this. Yes, interpreter checks the first statement if it's correct, immediately generating output. Next statement correct, immediately output. Next statement something wrong, simply stops. Next statement something wrong, simply stops. This is working of interpreter. Okay, same thing. Let us see compiler. Same, yes, same thing. If it is compiler, how compiler is working here? How compiler working? Yes, about compiler. Yes, how compiler? Okay, suppose C language. Suppose C program. C program source code. Some test.c program. How it's working? Yes. Here, how it's working here? Compiler. C compiler first of all checking for the first statement. So first statement is correct. Even correct, it won't convert into binary code. No, it won't convert into binary code. Okay. Yes, immediately it won't convert. Next, checking for next statement. Next statement is also correct here. Then go to next statement. Yes, even this is correct, it won't convert into binary code. This is correct, it won't convert into binary. Even correct, it won't convert into binary code. It won't convert into binary code. Checking for next statement. Suppose something wrong. Something wrong here. Yes, compiler shows error at some line here. Error at some line. Yes, after this checking for next statement also. Even error comes, checks for next statement also. Yes, in case of interpreter, what happens here? Any error comes, simply stops. Interpreter, any error comes, simply stops. Any error is there, simply stops. But compiler is not like this. Compiler checks the whole program from top to bottom and shows all the errors. Suppose here, next statement. Suppose next statement is correct. Next statement correct, then checking for next statement. Checking for next statement. Next statement correct, then checking for next statement. Like this, top to bottom, checking all the statements from top to bottom. Suppose one more error, here error shows like this. Okay, so next statement like this, compiler checks code from top to bottom. Yes, compiler checks whole program from top to bottom and shows all the errors. Compiler shows all the errors. Interpreter is only one error, but compiler shows all the errors. Compiler shows all the errors. Okay, yes, right. Yes, suppose something wrong here, that error message. Okay. Yes, all the errors. Yes, compiler checks the code from top to bottom. Compiler checks the whole program from top to bottom and shows all the errors. See like this error at some line. Next error at some line, error at some line. See this? Let us go to C programming. C programming. See compilation. Alt C compilation. Compile option. See this. This is a compile option, right? Compile option. Yes, errors. How many errors? 11 errors. 11 errors. Press any key. 11 errors. Press any key. You see this? First error. 16th line error. Yes, see. Program is math.cpp. Program is math.cpp. So this is 16th line error. Next 18th line error. Next 22nd line error. 24th line error. Next, yes, 27th line error. 29th line error. Yes, 30th line, 40th line, like this. All the errors from top to bottom. Compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. Compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. Now, let us correct all the mistakes here. So first, semicolon. Okay. Next, bracket. Okay. Yes, something like this. Something like this. Okay. Suppose here, double quotation. Double quotation. Yes, compile, alt C, compile, compile. Still some more errors. Error 6 errors. Still some more. So here, comma missing. Comma missing. Okay. Yes, next here, printf. Double quotation missing. Yes, alt C, compile. Yes. No, press any key. Still one more error. Still one more error. Okay, one more error. Yes, one more. Here, this is here bracket missing. Bracket missing. Alt C, compile. Yes, no errors. Yes, errors 0, warning 0, successfully come success my space any key. Completed, right? After compilation, next execution. Okay, execution. Yes, alt or run. Run means execution. Yes, executing. Now what happens here? Yes, when you try to run this program, what happens? Let us see. Let me show that practically. So when you try to run it, what happens? See, when you try to run the program, if no errors, what happens? Let us see. See here, compiler checks whole code from top to bottom. Compiler checks whole code from top to bottom and shows all the errors. It shows all the errors. It shows all the errors. It shows all the errors. Okay. Next, it correct all the errors. Next time, correction of all the errors. So fine. Yes. Next, checking for next one. Fine. Yes. Checking for next one. Okay. Next one. Fine. So top to bottom. Compiler checks whole program from top to bottom and shows all the errors. Suppose if no error, what happens? If no error, what happens here? If no error, simply compiler opens one more file. Yes. If don't have any error, if no errors, just the compiler opens another file, just opening another file. After opening another file, this whole code from top to bottom converts into binary code. Binary code, zeros ones format. Zeros ones format like this. So binary format, zeros ones format like this, zeros ones format, zeros ones format like this, zeros ones format, zeros ones format, zeros ones format, all this, zeros ones format. Okay, so zeros ones format like this. So the word binary code. So compiler checks whole program from top to bottom. Compiler it checks whole code from top to bottom. Whole code from top to bottom. If no errors, it creates another file with binary code. This file is called as what? Any idea? Yes, this file is called as binary code file. This binary code file is called as what? exe file. It's exe file. It's exe file. Okay. So compiler checks the whole code from top to bottom. If no errors, generates one exe file with binary code. It's a system understandable language. Now this exe file is given to processor. This exe file given to processor. So processor taking that exe file and generating output finally. That's it. Yes. Let me show that exe file also. Let us see that exe file. See, Alt C, compiled. Okay. 1 second. Math.cpp. Math.cpp. Yes, where this is behind a backend. 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 C drive. C drive turbo C installed. C drive turbo C installed. Here this is a bin. Now inside of bin here, inside the bin, here this is a math.cpp file. This is a file. Look at this file here. Yes. Yes, let me remove these things here. See, this is, yes, you can open at the backend, in the backend. Edit. That program to add, subtract, and multiply the numbers. Okay. So this is a program here. Now, Alt F, save. I'm saving the program. Saved. Saved. Once saved, what happens? You see this. The timestamp changed. Time of last modification 5:35 p.m. See 23rd December. 23rd December 5:35 p.m. Just now modified that file here, right? Just now modified. Now let us compile. Let us compile what happens here. Just observe backend here. Let us compile. Yes, Alt C compilation. Yes, compiled success. See this. Okay. Some math.obj file, object file generated. What is that object file? We'll discuss. Next coming topic. Okay, next run. Alter run. So when you try to run it here, yes, what happens? Running. See this another file created. See this application means exe file. See 5:36. Okay, 23rd December 5:36 p.m. Just exe file created. This is application means exe file. See right click, check the properties. Properties. Yes, see math.exe file. .exe. Type of file is exe. .exe means executable file. Okay, so what's happened here? Here no errors. If no errors, or generating one exe file and executing. That's it here. That's it. This is working of interpreter. This is working of interpreter. Okay, sorry, compiler. Working of compiler. Okay, compiler checks whole program from top to bottom and shows all the errors. If no errors, then generating one exe file. Exe file. What is exe file? Exe file is system understandable language. So compiler generates one exe file. That exe file given to processor generating outputs. Okay. Now difference. What's the difference you observed here? Interpreter based program and compiler based program. What's the difference observed here? See, interpreter based first line correct convert into binary codes. Next line correct convert into binary codes. So line by line. But in case of compiler, exe file generating. Okay. So compiler generates one exe file like this. Interpreter don't have exe file content. Line by line directly execution. Yes, if it is interpreter based here, if it is interpreter based, directly program executes. Line by line, first line correct, then execution. Next line correct, then execution. Next line correct, then execution. That your source code, that code execute test.py, that code executes directly. That code executes directly. But compiler is not like that. Compiler checking whole program from top to bottom and shows all the errors. Suppose if no errors, next step is it has to convert into exe file. Convert into exe file. After converting into exe file, then executes that. So what's the main difference? Exe file. I think that exe file observed, right? Yes, in case of compiler based language, this is exe file. Interpreter based language don't have exe file. Interpreter no exe file concept here. Yes, compiler exe file. Compiler exe file. Let us see that all the differences. 1 second. Yes, all the differences. See, let us compare. Let me compare this. Both you can understand very clearly. Yes, interpreter. Next, compiler. Interpreter and compiler. Interpreter and compiler. How they are working. Let us see about. Let us compare this. Okay, let us compare. Interpreter, compiler. See, interpreter. How that interpreter is working? Interpreter, yes, checks the code, checks the code line by line. Line by line, it's line by line. Yes, now I'm comparing, so then easy to understand here. So interpreter checks the code line by line. What is compiler? Whole program from top to bottom. Okay. Yes. Yes. Compiler. Yes, it checks the. Yes, it checks whole program. Whole program from from top to bottom. From top to bottom. Okay. Yes, it checks whole program from top to bottom. Okay. Next. See, in case of interpreter based, first line correct, immediately execution. Next line correct, immediately execution. But compile is not like that here. Compile is generating one exe file, then execute at a time here. Okay, interpreter. See, it generates output line by line. 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 Generates output line by line. Yes, compiler. Yes, at a time output here. So compiler at a time output. Yes, at a time output. Compiler is yes, at a time output. At a time output. Compiler. Yes, at a time output here. Okay, at a time output. Yes, next. Yes, interpreter. If any error comes, interpreter stops. Compile is not like that. Okay, interpreter shows only one error. Interpreter shows only one error. It shows only one error. Interpreter shows only one error. Only one error. But compiler, yes, it shows. Yes, it shows all the errors. All the errors from top to bottom. It shows all the errors from top to bottom. From top to bottom. From top to bottom. Okay. Interpreter, it shows only one error. Compiler, it shows all the errors from top to bottom. It shows all the errors from top to bottom. It shows all the errors from top to bottom. Okay. Yes. Next here, main difference exe file. Yes, it generates exe file. Generates exe file. Yes, compiler. Yes, it does not generate. Sorry. There was something. Yes, interpret. It does not generate exe. It does not. It does not. It does not generate exe file. Interpreter. It does not generate exe file. Yes, compiler. It generates exe file. Generates exe file. This is main difference. So main difference between interpreter and compiler. Yes, interpreter. It does not generate exe file. Compiler. It generates exe file. Next, see interpreter based program. Python script. Yes, directly execution. Directly executing source code, right? No exe file concept. Directly source code executing. Okay, directly source code executing. So interpreter, it executes. Yes, it executes. It executes. Yes, it executes. Source code directly. It executes source code directly here. Okay, interpreter, it executes source code directly. Yes, what is compiler? Yes, it executes. It executes exe file. It executes exe file. Okay. Yes, interpreter it executes source code directly here, but compiler generates one exe file and executing. That's it here. Okay. See, interpreter based language are called scripting language. They are scripting language. They are scripting languages. These are scripting languages. Scripting languages. Interpreter based language are called scripting languages. Compiler based is called as programming language. Programming. Yes, programming language. Programming language. Programming language. Okay. Programming languages. Programming languages. Okay. Programming languages. See, interpreter based languages are yes, compiler based called as programming language. Scripting language examples. Scripting language examples here. Scripting languages example. Python. Python is a scripting language. Interpreter based. Interpreter based language examples. Python. Python. Yes, next. Python. HTML. HTML. Yes, next. Linux shell scripting. Linux shell scripting. Next, JavaScript. JavaScript is not a Java. JavaScript is different. Java is different. Next, PHP scripting. Yes, next, Perl scripting. Like all the scripting language. So here, all these scripting languages are interpreter-based language. These scripting languages are interpreter-based language. Okay, programming language examples. Programming language examples. C. Yes, C++. Yes, .NET. .NET C#. So these are the yes programming languages. See, these are the scripting language examples. These are programming languages. Scripting language and programming language. Okay. See here. These all are scripting languages. Scripting means that can be modified anytime. Scripting means that can be modified anytime. Okay. Program means once exe file created, generates exe file. Once exe file created, you cannot modify. We can't modify. Yes, in scripting language, no exe file. Directly always source code executing. Directly source code executing. So anytime we can modify. But in case of compiler exe file you cannot modify. It's a binary format that exe file cannot be modified. Okay. Yes. Next here. Yes. So interpreter based language. See, interpreter. Yes. Interpreter based language. One second. Yes, interpreter based language. Interpreter based language. Yes, don't have exe file. Don't have exe file. This is very important point here. Yes, here everything is exe. Everything. Yes, everything is an exe file. Everything is an exe file. Okay. See here, interpreter based language don't have exe file. Yes, here everything is exe file. That's it. So this is difference between interpreter and compiler. Interpreter. See, interpreter checks the code line by line, interpreter line by line, but compile this whole program from top to bottom. Next, interpreter. Yes, it generates output line by line. Yes, compiler at a time output. So compiler at a time output. Because it creating one exe file executing. Next, interpreter shows only one error. It shows only one error. compiler, it shows all the errors from top to bottom. It shows all the errors from top to bottom. All the errors from top to bottom. Okay. See, interpreter, it does not generate exe file. Compiler generates. This is very, very important. Fourth point is very, very important here. See, main difference between interpreter and compiler is exe file. Main difference. So compiler based language exe file. Interpreter based language don't have exe file. That's it. Now get doubt here. There's some doubt. See, I'm talking about many things like Python, HTML, like Python, HTML, shell scripting, JavaScript, PHP, C, C++, very Java. No, that is doubt. Very Java. Yes, is it interpreter based or compiler? That is question. Compiler based. Okay, good, good. Yes, Java. Yes, Java, is it compiler based or interpreter based? Java, is it compiler based, interpreter based? Yes, guys, anyone can respond it. Java, is it interpreter based or compiler based? Yes, you can ping in chat box. Chat box available. If anybody to speak, just you can ping in chat box. Yes, interpreter based or compiler based?
Compiler based.
Compiler based. Okay, okay, fine, fine. Yeah, okay, fine. Yes, let me explain about Java. Let us see Java. Let us see about Java. Here, Nandini is saying that interpreter. Yes, this girl. No. Who is saying that?
Both also, sir.
Yes, Santi is saying that compiler. He is saying that both.
It is considered both interpreter and also compiled. As
Yeah.
we use Java.
Yeah, when I
Java.
Gaikwad. So
Yes,
when I
yes,
Gaikwad saying that, yeah, saying that both. Okay.
yes.
Yeah, let me explain. I will explain. You decide it. I'll explain
Okay.
how Java working, how Java working, how Java is working. I will explain. Decide it.
Okay.
I'll explain. You decide it. Okay. Let us see Java. Now about Java. This is our topic. So about Java. About Java. Java. Say about, let us start Java. Let us start Java. See, except Java, except Java in other languages, except Java in other languages, except Java in other languages, what happens here? Source code simply converts into binary code. Source code simply converts into binary code. Except Java in other languages, maybe Python scripting or C language or C++, or maybe HTML, any case, source code simply converts into binary code. This binary code given to processor, binary code given to processor, binary code given to processor. So processor taking that code and generating output, right? Output. This except Java. Okay, source code means your program. See, this is called as source code. This code is source code. C program, this is source code. This is called as source code. Okay, that source code, simply source code, converts into binary code, 0s 1s format, and given to processor, then generating output. That is other languages. Yes, next in Java. In Java, what happens? Let us see. In Java, what happens here? In Java, so first of all, source code. First of all, source code. Yes, converts into byte code. Byte code. That byte code converts into binary code. Binary code. So between source code and binary code, there's a one more code introduced, byte code introduced. See, except Java in other languages, source code directly converting into binary code. Source code directly converting into binary code. But in Java, yes, some intermediate code is generating here. Some intermediate code, byte code introduced. Okay, source code converts into byte code. That byte code converting into binary code. That binary code given to yes processor taking that binary code here, generating output. That's a generating output. Okay, see, source code to byte code to binary code. Okay, so here other language only one step. Source to binary code only one step, but in Java there are two steps here. Source to bytecode to binary code. Yes, in Java, why bytecode introduced? Sorry, in Java, why bytecode introduced here? In Java, why bytecode introduced here? To make Java as independent platform. Yes, we'll discuss. Next coming topic. So why bytecode introduced in Java? Why bytecode introduced in Java? To make the Java as independent platform. Yes, we'll discuss. Next coming topic. Okay. Now here, source code to bytecode. Who will convert this? Source code to bytecode. This is by the compiler. This part is by the compiler. This part is by the compiler. Okay. Yes. Now source code to bytecode by the compiler. Yes. Let us Java program. Okay. Java program. Did right? Yes. Test folder here. Did some test folder here. Some Java file is available. Test.java file is available. Some test.java file. Okay. Yes. Command prompt. CMD. Command prompt. Okay. So D colon iterate CD test folder. Changing test directory. CLS dir C. Yes. Notepad. Test.java. Notepad test.java. Okay. This is Java program file. Save. How writing this one? Public class test, public static void main, and all this here. Okay. Control S, save it and exit. Okay. So Java now compilation process. Checking errors, checking. Java C. Compile. Yes, no errors. Yes, if no error. Yes, generating one dot class file. If no error, Java C. No error. Yes, it will generate one dot class file. See, test dot class file generated. For test dot Java, test dot class file generated. See this timestamp 5:54 p.m. when 23rd 12, right? So you can 23rd December today, 23rd December at 5:30, 5:54 just now test dot class file generated. So Java compiler, see Java compiler, yes, Java compiler checking for all the errors. Java compiler checking for all the errors. If no errors, generating a dot class file. So generate dot class file. Okay. So you get source code to bytecode by the compiler. Okay, right? Yes, what happens here? Java compiler checks for all the errors. Java compiler checks for all the errors here. All the errors. Java compiler checks for all the errors. Java compiler checks for all the errors. If no errors, if no errors, then it generates bytecode file. If no errors, then it generates bytecode file. Okay, it generates bytecode file. Yes, it generates bytecode. Yes, if no errors, then it generates bytecode here. Then it generates bytecode. Okay, that is compiler. First, then execution. Yes, execution. Java. Yes, test enter correct. Yes, now which one executing? It's the interpreter. Now this is this is compiler, this is the interpreter. The dot class file executing by the interpreter. Dot class executing by the interpreter. Okay. 1 second. Hello. You probably could you call back just for 10 minutes class now. 10 minutes. Okay. So Java C compiler. Okay, check it all the errors. If no errors, generated one dot class file. The dot class will executing it. Yes, this is by the interpreter. Yes, errors checking by the compiler, but program execution by the interpreter. Program execution by the interpreter. So program execution by the interpreter. Now what happens here? See here bytecode to source code to bytecode. Yes, it's a compiler. A Java compiler checks for all the errors. If no errors, generating bytecode file. Next bytecode. Yes, bytecode to yes binary code. Bytecode to binary code. Yeah, this is by the interpreter. Interpret. Say interpreter. So here bytecode to binary code by the interpreter. Okay, interpreter, right? So interpreter taking Java bytecode, converting it to binary code. After converting it to binary code, given to processor. That's it here. Okay. So you can program execution. Yes, program. Yes, program execution. Yes, execution by the interpreter. By the interpreter. By the interpreter. Right? Yes, execution by the program execution by the interpreter. Okay. So interpreter. Program execution by the interpreter. So what is happening in Java? Okay, there are two steps. First step is compilation process. First step is compilation process. Okay, compiler. Yes. So first, see test.java file. It's a source code. It's a source code. Source code. The source code given to Java compiler. Java C. Java C, right? Java C. Now Java C compiler taking test.java, checking all the errors from top to bottom. Java C compiler checking all the errors from top to bottom. Top to bottom. If errors generating, yes, generating one tested dot class, generating tested dot class, tested dot class, tested dot class. It's a bytecode. So this is bytecode, 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 right? Bytecode. Okay. Now this bytecode file given to Java means that is interpreter, Java interpreter, Java interpreter, Java interpreter. So given to Java interpreter. So interpreter, yes, interpreter taking that code. So bytecode given to Java interpreter. So interpreter taking that code here, interpreter taking that code. Yes, converting into binary code, converting into binary code, converting to binary code, converting to binary code. That binary code given to processor. Okay, processor. So processor taking that code here, generating output simply. So what is happening here? What is happening? Yes, errors checking by the compiler, errors checking by the compiler, error checking by the compiler. Okay. Yes, next program execution. Yes, execution by the interpreter, execution by the interpreter, execution by the interpreter. Yes, error checking by the compiler. If errors, that program executing by the interpreter. Okay, now tell me, Java depends on what? Is it compiler or interpreter or both? Java depends on what? Is it compiler based or interpreter based or both? Now, as per my explanation, as per this explanation, as per this explanation, Java, is it interpreter based, compiler based or both? Yes, both. So Java depends on Java. See here, Java is a, yes, interpreter. Java is a compiler, compiler as well, interpreter based. Compiler as well, interpreter based. That's it here. Okay, compiler as well, interpreter based. Okay, compiler. See what is happening here. So Java C. So first the compilation process. Java C test.java, test.java compilation process. After compilation, then execution. Java test. That's it. So compiler as well interpreter both are involving. Yes, in Java compiler as well interpreter both are involving. That is Java. That is Java introduction. Java depends on both. Java is compiler as well as interpreter based. Okay. Java is a compiler as well interpreter based. Okay. Java is a, yes, Java is a compiler as well interpreter based. Error checking by the compiler and execution by the interpreter. So there are two things are involving, compiler as well interpreter involving. Compiler as well interpreter involving. Okay. Fine. Yes, here some question for you guys. Some question. Some question. First, to try to understand the topic. Yes, here I'll be asking some question. You have to answer some question here. See, any language, any language, any language, yes, interpreter based. Any language, interpreter based. Interpreter based don't have exe. Any language. Try to remember this. Any language, interpreter based don't have exe file. Okay, any language interpreter based don't have exe file. Any language interpreter based don't have exe file. Any, one second. Any language runtime, sorry, runtime. Any language runtime is an interpreter based. Okay. Yes, in Python, interpreter. Python is interpreter based. No compiler concept in Python. C language only compiler, no interpreter concept. Only C, yes, only compiler. Python only interpreter. Okay. See any language. See any language. Runtime is interpreter but don't have exe file. Any language. Any language. You take any language. Any language. Runtime is an interpreter but don't have exe file. Yes. Now Java language. Java language. Java language. Yes. Runtime. Java language. Runtime. Java language. Runtime. Yes. Is an interpreter based. Okay. Now tell me. No answer to my question. See, based on this explanation, see any language runtime is an interpreter based, don't have exe file. Java language runtime is interpreter based. Now question is yes, is there any exe file concept in Java? That's the question. Or another question, same thing another way. Yes, can we create exe file in Java? Yes, can we just create exe file in Java? Can we create exe file in Java? That's the question. Yes, answer is yes or no. Tell me. Can we create exe file in Java? See, as per our discussion, can we create exe file in Java? Yes, dot class file is not exe file. Dot class file is different, exe file is different. Can we create exe file in Java? Can we create exe file in Java? Is there an exe file concept in Java? See, Java runtime is interpreter based. Java runtime is interpreter based. Okay, Java runtime is interpreter based. Yes, if runtime is interpreter based, runtime is an interpreter based, don't have exe file. Don't have exe. So as per this, since Java is a runtime based, no exe file concept in Java. Yes, answer is no.
No.
Let me. Yes, answer is no. Yes, muted everyone because getting some noise disturbance, background noise. Okay. No, can we create exe file in Java? No. See this, no. See, dear. See in this process, first what are steps here? Notepad, start the first step using Notepad writing your Java program. Developer of writing this. Next the compilation. What is the result file? Test.java converted test dot class. So we got the dot class test.java file. Dot class file 6/5 23rd December, right? Dot class file generated. After then executing, yes, test Java test executed. See in this process here, yes, in this process, have you seen any exe file in this? Dot Java file is there, dot class file is there. Yes, did you observe any exe file? Yes, in this process, yes, observed any exe file? No, no means there is no exe file concept in Java. Java don't have the concept of exe files. Okay, yes. See, since Java, yes, Java runtime, Java runtime is an interpreter based. Runtime is an interpreter based. Interpreter based. Since Java runtime is interpreter based here, don't have exe file concept. Don't have exe file concept. Don't have exe file concept. That's it. Okay. Yes, there is no concept of exe file in Java. No exe file. Okay. Yes, no exe file in Java. No exe file. Yes, no exe file concept in Java. Java. Here everything is a dot class file. Everything is a dot class file. Everything is dot class file. But dot class is not exe file. Dot class file is not an exe file. Yet the difference also will discuss. What is exe file? What is dot class? That also will discuss. Dot class file, yes. Dot class file is not an exe file. Dot class file is not an exe file. It's not an exe file. Okay. See what is exe? See exe file is a binary code. It's a binary code file. It's a binary code and it's a system understandable language. It is a system. system understandable, processor understandable language. It's a processor understandable language. Understandable language. It's a processor understandable language. What is exe file? Exe file is a binary code. It's a binary code file. It's a binary code file, and it's a processor understandable language. It's a processor understandable language. What is dot class? What is dot class? Yes, about dot class. See dot class file. Dot class file is a bytecode file. Dot class is a bytecode file. So bytecode is different, binary code is different here. Dot class file is a bytecode file. Bytecode file. Okay, yes, bytecode file. Yes, and it's a JVM understandable language. Dot class file is a bytecode file. Dot class file is a bytecode file. Yes, it's a JVM understandable. JVM understandable language. JVM understandable language. Okay, JVM understandable language. Okay, yes, what is bytecode? The topic will discuss very clear. I'll explain. Next coming topic. Okay, yes, we have separate topic in JVM. This is a separate topic in JVM. In JVM, I will explain about bytecode. What is bytecode? We'll discuss very clearly. Yes, in JVM topic. What is bytecode? I'll explain very clearly. Okay, yes. So this is about Java introduction. Yes, Java started. Introduction here. See today topic. See interpreter and compare that all the differences what we discussed. Everything prepared. 1 second, you guys. You don't worry about running notes. Running notes is not necessary. Running notes is not necessary here. Yes, in document it's there. Just you can go through the document here. Just see the documents. You can read the documents and try to understand. Yes, everything very clearly is in document here. So don't worry about running notes. You don't write running notes, wasting of time. Okay. Yes, about Java. See, Java depends on both the compiler as well interpreter. Okay. See, in Java, errors taken by the compiler. Yes, if no errors, then Java compiler generates dot class file. Dot class file is a bytecode file. Bytecode file. Java runtime by the interpreter. See the steps. Okay, source code given to Java. See Java compiler. Yes, no errors. Bytecode file generating that is given to Java interpreter here. So bytecode converts into binary code. Yes, links to OS library. The topic we'll see next. Okay, see here. See, in this case, source code to bytecode to binary code, then processor, then output. See, source to bytecode by the compiler, this part by the compiler, bytecode to binary code, this part by the interpreter. So this is by the compiler, this is by the interpreter. That's it here. So Java depends on both the compiler as well interpreter. That's it. Yes, it's an interview question. Difference between interpreter and compiler. Java depends on what? Is it compiler based or interpreter based? These kind of questions. Okay, Java runtime is an interpreter based. Okay, see any language. See any language. See any language. 1 second. See any language runtime is an interpreter based no exe file. Since Java runtime is an interpreter based no exe file concept in Java. See here. Can we create exe file in Java? No. There is no concept of exe files in Java. In Java, everything is a dot class file. Dot class file is not exe file. Dot class file is not exe file. Dot class file is not exe file. Okay, dot class file is not exe file. Okay, yes. This is exe file. So what is exe file? Dot class file is not exe file. See exe file. Exe file is a binary code file and it's a processor understandable language. Okay, next dot class file. See here, dot class file is a bytecode file and it's a JVM understandable language. That's it. That's about exe file and a dot class file. Yes, still more explanation is there. What's the difference between exe file and dot class file? Some more explanation is there. Big topic. Yes, exe file dot class file difference series. So next topic is features independent platform. Okay, see here to understand independent platform. Yes, yesterday topic and today topic. These two are prerequisites. Okay, now you have the knowledge of OS, how OS is working. Yesterday discussed. how interpreter compile working, that is discussed. Okay, next execl.test file we have discussed. Then about independent platform. Yes, as a part of independent platform, this explanation, yes, will be discussing about execl.test file. There are some differences. The difference. What is execl? What is dot class? All of these things. Yes, tomorrow class. Tomorrow class, complete class is about Java features. Java features. Okay, tomorrow complete class. Yes, yesterday class and today class is a prerequisite to understand Java features. See, directly I can explain Java features. Means simply of explaining definitions and taking to Java. But in my view, that is not correct. Yes, you should have in-depth knowledge. Yes, you should have very in-depth knowledge here. So for that reason, I'm explaining from the scratch, very scratch. Okay, from the hardware, software, system, software, application, software, like very scratch we are discussing, right? Okay. See here, everyone has to answer. Every question you have to answer. Every question you have to answer. That's the reason I'm explaining all the basics, including basics. Okay. Yes, here exe file and dot class are differences. This topic tomorrow will continue. Tomorrow will continue. Yes. Any doubts? Yes, guys. Any doubts? Yes, any doubts? Yes, if no doubts, tomorrow will continue. Yes, tomorrow, taking that, yes, Java features. After finishing Java features, next, yes, next year, what is bytecode? I'll explain. Don't worry. What is bytecode? I'll explain. Next, installing Java and writing Java program. Okay. No, 1 second. If I unmuted, what happens here? If I unmuted, what happens here? Getting disturbance from the background noise. Some students, some kids are there with students. Some kids are there. The kids are giving noise, disturbance getting. For that reason, muted everyone. Simply can say yes, sir. Text box available. You can share in the text box. Your doubts, okay. Your doubts, what are doubts are there? You can share in the text box. Okay, your questions also you can share in text box here. Suppose your response share in the text box. Text box that is box available. Share me. I can see all this. Yes, I'm observing everyone. Here I'm observing everyone here. I'm observing everyone. Okay. Suppose if I unmuted, what happens here? Chance of getting disturbance. To avoid that here, just muted everyone. Okay, you can share in chat box anytime. The chat box available. Anytime you can ask any question, you can no issue. Okay. Still doubts are there. Still doubts are there. 1 second. Still doubts are there. Still doubts are there. Still doubts are there. Yes, WhatsApp group is out for your watch. I will create a WhatsApp group. WhatsApp group. So WhatsApp group 5 p.m. batch. Yes, this is a group. Okay, in this group you can ask doubts. See some communication going on, right? See, this is session 1 shared, session 2 shared, and session 3 yesterday's one. Okay, yes, 21st December session. Yes, all these sessions. 22nd session, 22nd December, 21st session, 20th session. Yes, 20th December first session. This is second session. The third session. Till now, what are discussed? Till now, what are discussed? All these sessions shared in the WhatsApp. Download and watch it. Download, watch it here. Yes, from Friday, I'll create a separate drive for our batch. I'll give the drive access. Okay, from Friday, I'll give the drive access. Friday means tomorrow only. Tomorrow I'll give the drive access. Yes, you can access the recordings from the drive here. The drive access will be given from tomorrow. You can access it. You can access it. Okay. So this is okay. This is yes. Everything is communicating. Yes, Nandini, don't worry. Yes, I'll share it. See here, I'll share all this. For you also, I'll share it. Don't just watch it today. Yes, tomorrow I'll give the drive access. Tomorrow, drive access. For your batch drive, let me show the drive, your batch drive. Drive level access I can give you, so you can watch all that here. Yeah, I'll share it again. Nandini, I will share it, don't worry. The same group, I'll share again. Yes, these are drive created for your batch. Yes. See, individual records shared here. Right click, get link. Get link like this I have shared. Yes. So editor, copy link. Yes, that link shared. That link shared simply here. But from tomorrow, after finishing tomorrow class, I'll use the drive access. Sharing drive. Sharing drive. Yes, suppose for example MN Rao 11. For me, I'm sharing gmail.com. Sharing, sharing simply. Okay. Just I'm sharing links. So given drive access. Like that, I will give drive access for you guys. Material, recordings and everything. Tomorrow, yes, afternoon or by the evening, I'll give the drive access. Okay. Yes, still anyone to yes share our details. Yes, my WhatsApp number. Yes, my WhatsApp number. Yes, I think almost yes, 12 to 13 members shared their details. 189.126 is my WhatsApp number. Still anyone to submit, share your details. Yes, your name required. Next, your Gmail ID. Yes, Gmail ID for sharing recordings and all this. Take it. I'll wait for 1 minute. Take it. I hope everyone taken. Okay, so next tomorrow topic is Java features. Once topic completed, then Java installation. Tomorrow, yes, first 1 hour Java features. Next half an hour, yes, I'll explain about Java installation, Eclipse setup, and all this. Okay. Yeah. Right. Java features and all this. So interpreter compare the differences discussed. Okay. Tomorrow class, independent flat from that features in that exe file dot class and all this here. Okay. No. See any doubts? 1 second. Here go to training. Yes, between participants don't have the option, but go to meeting next week from Monday onwards. From Monday onwards, go to meeting is there. From Monday onwards, go to meeting is in go to meeting. You can communicate with others also. Okay. See here. 1 second. I have given WhatsApp group. WhatsApp group is there. Okay, WhatsApp group. Yes, you can share whatever doubts you want in group. Others also respond. Group, share your doubts in group. Other students also will be responding you. Okay, others also will be responding you. Okay. See, 1 second. Actually, here, suppose in class, students each other communicating means there is a lot of disturbance. Yes, disturbing others. Yes, wantedly many students will disturb others here. So we don't want to allow that kind of disturbance to others. Their interest will be deviated. So in go to training, don't have that option. Go to meeting onwards, that option is available. Go to meeting option, that option is available. Or else you can utilize the WhatsApp group. WhatsApp group available. There you can. Okay. See, in my batches, lot of facility available for communication purpose. Communication purpose, lot of facility. Yes, in WhatsApp you can communicate with me or with other students. You can communicate, no issue. In group, share your doubts. Others will responding. Okay. So here, technical related, anything is there, I will maximum respond here. Yes, even sometimes others also will respond. If you want anything, others will be responding. That's it here. Okay. See here, suppose in class, yes, in class, during the class, if we chatting each other, that will be creating a lot of disturbance between you guys. That's a problem for you guys. Yes, unable to focus on the class. Okay. So WhatsApp is just to communicate in WhatsApp. What are doubts you have, you can ask me. Share in the WhatsApp. Others also will be responding here. You can communicate through the WhatsApp. Okay. Just you can ping me personally also. See, many guys are, see, every day. See, many guys. See, Java. See, 8:30 a.m. Some guy is asking for something. See this. See, daily communication. See this. Happily, they are communicating with me. See, happily communicating with me. See, today, how much communication? A lot of communication, right, with me. Yes, this today communication, yesterday communication. See how many communicated today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yes, this ever 22. Yes, more than 20 words are communicated today. Doubts and all that. Okay. Next, yesterday. See that yesterday. How many communicated? Yesterday, I think around 40 to 50 members. Today, still to go. Yes, till 12 o'clock also they will communicate. See here, let me even, I'll show that. See, communication. At what time? 12:55 p.m. Yes, communicated. Yes, 9:58, 12:55. No. Harish Kumar at what time? 10:53 p.m. Yes, this one. See, Bharat Ram. 10:54 p.m. Yes. This is 10:57 p.m. See, 10:58. That yesterday coming 11 o'clock, even 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock. This guy 11 o'clock. See, 11 o'clock communicated. Till 12 o'clock, I'll talk to students. Okay, till 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. See, 11 o'clock. See that. Okay, yesterday, 11 o'clock. Yes, 11:23. See this guy 11:30 also is, yes. 11:30, 11:30 also. Okay, that communication here. See that. See, 12:25 a.m. This guy 12:25 a.m. means midnight. Midnight. See, 1 a.m. Okay, like this. Like this, I'll communicate to every student. Okay, maximum up to 12 o'clock, I'll communicate here. Yes, if any still are there, 12:30 maximum for others. Okay. Yes, at 12 o'clock, by 10:80 cost, I'll go to sleep. 12 to 6, my sleeping hours night. Okay, except that every time communicating. Okay. Yes. Right. Yes, you can communicate happily. Can communicate with me. Yes, like a friend. Like a friend, you can communicate with me. You can treat me like a friend. You can treat me like a brother. Like your parents also. You can move like your parents. Okay. Right. Yes, like your parents. Yes, you suppose any things are there. Yes, you have that privilege to ask your parents, right? Same privilege you can take from me also. Same privilege. No worry. Okay. See, I'm not a commercial. I'm not a commercial. 24/7 support will be there. Okay. So anytime ping me anything, I can respond. Yeah, that's all for today. Yes, we'll continue tomorrow. Same link for tomorrow also. Okay. Yeah, payment details. Yes, already group shared. Yes, in group, your group. Yes, in group, it's a group communication is there. Yes, someone asking for this. See, this is, yeah, this is payment details. Yeah, this is the account and Google Pay. Yes, you can pay through that. Okay. Yes, still anyone to, yes, share details. Yes, share this. This is my WhatsApp number. Share details. Okay. Share details. Okay. Yeah, that's all. Yes, here generally here most of the times I'll be spending on computer only because of office working. Support will be there always. 24/7 support will be there for office. For office purpose working, same time students are pinging. So I'll respond generally. Okay. Yes, office purpose working. Because of office purpose working, I'll be seeing all these messages here. So I'll respond immediately without any delay. Okay. Yes. Yes, evening 9 p.m. starting. 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Monday starting new batch. 9 p.m. Okay. Yes, your wish. 5 p.m., 9 p.m. That's your wish. Okay. Yeah. Your convenient. Okay. Yeah. So that's all. Thank you, guys. Yes. Tomorrow also same link. Tomorrow also same link. Till Saturday, same link. Okay. Thank you. Yes. See you tomorrow.